come a long, long way. Made a lot of mistakes, but I'm breathing, breathing. That's right, and I made it, made it. This time I'm a little run down. I've been living out loud. I can beat it, beat it. That's right, 'cause I'm feeling, feeling invincible.
Aloha friends, this is Tito Kang for the LoliNation blog, coming to you on this edition of Marvelous Mondays. Yes indeed, marvelous Monday morning to you all. I hope you had a prodigious weekend. I actually trust that you had a prodigious weekend because you actually make it prodigious. I had a tremendous one. Lots of learning, lots of new adventures, and lots of discovering what can continue to affect and change my life moving forward. So excited to come back to you here today on this Monday morning. We're going to talk about the 7th values towards a prodigious attitude. I hope you remember the 4 mental dips we talked about in the past 4 weeks, which is discipline, integrity, perseverance, and courage. Discipline, integrity, perseverance, and courage, and that is dips. Dips. Have you done your mental dips? Have you gone out and practiced what was shared with you? I hope you did. And if you didn't, well, if you want to change, this is the place to be, and only by doing that we change. You know that. I've said it many a times. The 5th value towards a prodigious attitude I want to talk about today, it's just the second C in our values towards a prodigious attitude, and that is compassion. Compassion is defined in the Webster's Dictionary, as I pull out here directly from the web, is the sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. The suffering or misfortunes of others, that's what it is. Now, when you take a look at the root of the word compassion, it actually stems from or derives from the Latin word patentor, which is patient. I think it's patientor, something like that. But it's the patient, taking care of a patient. That's what compassion is. That's why doctors or healthcare workers demonstrate compassion overall for the sufferings of others. And suffering can also be of a physical nature or a mental nature, right? So when I think about compassion, the first person that pops into my mind is Mother Teresa. Who can you think about that has more compassion than this lady, little lady in India that took care of people that were dying, right? They were giving out palliative care to people that were passing away, and to have compassion, to demonstrate that compassion. Now, when you think about Mother Teresa, you think, wow, how does a person give so much? How can you give so much? You can actually find out that she takes joy. She takes joy in her compassion. She says it that if she didn't find joy in it, she couldn't keep on caring or carrying her work. So this is what my mentor Jim Rohn used to say, is that he calls it enlightened self-interest. Enlightened self-interest. In that you want to help others, but first by helping yourself. In true state of happiness, if you help yourself and take care of you, you can then change those around you. Many a times we embarked upon life wanting to change those around us first. We fail to see the opportunities or the development that we need to take to become who we can become to affect those around us. So compassion is one trait to have. You must realize that there is suffering or potential suffering, both physical and mental, around you. And that to change that around you, you must take action. Now, there's a book I read before the holidays called The Humanitarian, let me just see here, The Heart and the Fist, The Education of a Humanitarian and Training of a Navy SEAL. Now, when you think about that, education of a humanitarian and a training of a Navy SEAL, how can those two combine, make sense? And that's what intrigued me into reading this book, written by Eric Reitens. And when I take a look at this, I've come to figure one quote that I love to use, which actually talks about compassion, goes like this. Is that without courage, compassion falters. Without courage, compassion falters. And that without compassion, courage has no direction. Without compassion, courage has no direction. Isn't that powerful? Compassion is one part, and we talked about courage before. You must have the courage, right, to pursue. But courage can also be used in very, very evil ways, in very hurtful ways. Nonetheless, that with courage, if you want courage to have direction, you must have compassion. But if you have compassion alone and have no courage, nothing will change. Eric Greitens was part of a humanitarian process. He actually posted himself in Yugoslavia, Rwanda, helping out with Peace Corps and helping out the individuals and the folks that lived through that. But what he noticed is that he couldn't really truly change their lives just with compassion alone. That there was still evil lurking around and you needed to defend it. You need to push the evil back. You needed to take action and not just a feeling. And when he felt helpless on this, he decided to join the Navy SEALs. Now, this is a gentleman that went to Oxford. He's a scholar, first and foremost, was in university, did the Peace Corps, and then decided to to join the Navy SEALs because he felt that he had no point of achieving the changes that he wanted to affect on the peoples that he was compassionate about. What is the two key things that combine these two individuals that have shaped and changed the world? Well, first and foremost, they were compassionate. But secondly, they took action. They took action in the areas where they felt they could most affect so that they can change. But the change, if you notice and read on very carefully, is that the change did not happen outside of them. It happened inside of them, inside their head and inside their heart. Remember that. If you want to change the world, you first must change. So, is there any homework towards compassion? I'm sure that all human beings that have a heart, and we all do, feel compassion for something. I am positive that somewhere around your life, you see the suffering, both physical or mental, that you're touched with. Interestingly enough, my son was participating in a concept within school where he goes out and did volunteer work. He volunteered at a soup kitchen, and he used 3 words to explain what he most felt about that experience. Inspiring, happy, and realizing being grateful of what he has inside of his current life. That's what it gave to him. So by being compassionate, by going out there, yes, you affect those around you, but more importantly, you affect yourself. Enlightened self-interest. So go out, find somebody, find the folks that you're most compassionate about or a group of people and go out and help them out. Do that one. It might just be one little letter that you send out to a friend that maybe is going through the most and the roughest time. And it's not really what you're going to do for them. I'm telling you. It's not that. It's what you are going to do for you. This is Tito Kang. Wow, this was beautiful. If you like this, keep on thinking and then share it, and then subscribe. If you're not a subscriber yet to the LoliNation blog, please subscribe. But do share it with your friends. The message is important to get out if you believe in it. All right, this is Tito for the LoliNation blog. It was a prodigious pleasure to come to you again this week. I'm saying until next time, aloha, mahalo, and to your prodigious success.